What is going on, y'all? Robert Sykes, KetoSavage.com. Welcome to another competition prep update for the vlog series. This is week 27. We've had quite a few manipulations take place this week, so roll up your sleeves. Let's dive in. First and foremost, we did the Natural Mania competition in New York 2 weeks ago now, and what I kind of alluded to with the last video is that I noticed with the peaking strategy I did, I filled out great, but 2 days after the show, so on Monday, when I was working out, I just felt incredibly tight, grainy, lean, dry, and crisp. And I didn't feel as filled out, still pretty filled out, but not as filled out. And I noticed that's when I woke up at the lightest weight. And when it came to the judging and the placing at that show in particular, but then also just the WNBF Natural Federation in general, they're typically looking for the leanest physique. You want to have the fullness as well. Obviously, you want to have the leanest. You want to have the whole package. But generally speaking, a natural federation is going to reward the leaner competitors more so than just simply the bigger competitors. So I always want to bring the best conditioning as possible on show day. So it got me thinking, okay, I can front load the refeed strategy a little bit and bring a little bit more crispy look to the stage as opposed to a little bit more filled out look to the stage. They both look great, and when you're this lean, either way works well because you don't have to worry about crazy rebounds or holding a bunch of extra fluid. That is one massive benefit of a ketogenic competition prep and peak week protocol versus that of one who is using a bunch of carb loading, water manipulation, sodium depletion. When you mess that up, you mess that up royally, and you run the risk of, putting on 15 pounds of extra fluid retention in a very short window of time and totally washing out your definition. The beauty of what I'm doing with a ketogenic competition prep and what I recommend people do that are following this protocol is that you can make very small, minor tweaks but still look great even if it doesn't work out like you anticipate, because you're not doing anything so drastic that would cause a massive negative effect. So that is one huge advantage of a ketogenic competition prep, and one huge advantage of not incorporating carbohydrates in your peak week strategy. There is no need for carbohydrates to make these tweaks and see significant changes, but not dangerous manipulations that could leave you unhealthy, cause cramping, excessive cramping, be a health risk, or totally wash out your definition, which we certainly want to avoid. So let's dive into the spreadsheet here. I'm going to show you in detail what I've noticed. So if we scroll here up to the first competition that took place on September 2nd, I did my refeed strategy here. I had the extra pound of ground beef, I had the refeed pizza, and then I had my extra brick on show day. And then I noticed that on show day, I woke up and I weighed 159.2. I filled out. That is up in weight from the days prior. I had a fullness to the stage. And then 2 days later, I hit my low of 155.8. That same phenomena happened at this last competition that took place on 9/23. I was 157.1, had that extra pound of ground beef. Then 159.5, had that refeed pizza, ketogenic refeed pizza. Competed on the Saturday, woke up at 159.4, so pretty much the same weight. Had the extra brick that day, and then 2 days later, my weight dropped down to 155.9. So I wanted to try and test that protocol out on a non-peak week to see if I could emulate it, which is exactly what I did this week, week 27, because I had a week in between shows. So this week started at 159.5. Again, this entire weekend prior, I was spending the weekend working out in the sun on a fence. So I was holding some extra fluid retention as a result of that, which is why you see some 160 weigh-ins here. But the test still worked. I woke up at 159.5 on Monday, and because I wanted to capture these images, I went ahead and moved it up to having that extra pound of meat on Monday instead of Tuesday or instead of Thursday, and I basically had that on Monday. That was 215 grams of fat, 205 grams of protein, 15 grams of total carbs for a total of 2,815 calories with that extra pound of meat. The next day was 160.6. I had my refeed pizza that day. That was 260 calories, 210 or 260 grams of fat rather, 210 grams of protein, 20 total carbs, 3260 on the calories. And then on Wednesday, I had the extra keto brick, which put me at 215 fat, 165 protein, 15 total carbs. And then I took pictures on Thursday, which would be the equivalent. Actually, I took pictures on Wednesday, which would be the equivalent of the show day if I was to follow the same protocol I had in weeks prior. So I took pictures on Wednesday, I took pictures on Thursday, and I took pictures on Friday. And like clockwork, as is true with the last two shows, I woke up lighter on Friday, which was 10/6/2023. Woke up at 156.9. So again, that pattern of waking up lighter 2 days post show day has replicated itself 3 times in a row now. So I can feel pretty confident with how my body is responding to those macronutrient manipulations and those sodium manipulations, because remember, on the refeed day with the ketogenic pizza, I'm having a bolus of sodium with that pizza. So again, my macros were the same throughout the week on these 2 days, but I woke up lighter as a result of that. So I've been kind of looking at the comparison pictures to see which package I want to bring to the stage. So on that note, let me show you what that refeed meal looked like real quick. So we'll follow suit there. Again, pretty much same protocol as last time. The nut pods in the morning. I swapped out and I did lamb instead of ground beef for bison, and the lamb was a nice change of pace, delicious. I love lamb. Then the refeed pizza with the Bell's Brownie batter brick. Same protocol there. Again, the bolus of sodium, 10 grams of real salt for a total sodium load of 14,500 when the baseline is typically around 12,000 milligrams. Total calories 3,300, 260 grams of fat, like I said, and then 210 grams total protein. So that's what the refeed meal looked like. But again, I front loaded it this week to test out to see if I would in fact be lighter again 2 days post refeed manipulation, which I was. So let's look at some pictures here. All right, so first of all, let's look at this picture. This picture is from the competition that happened in New York, and this is with me following the traditional protocol of having the extra pound on Thursday, extra pound of meat on Thursday, the refeed pizza on Friday, the day before the show, the extra brick on show day. This is the package I brought to the table on show day. I was lean, I was filled out, I was leaner than the other competitors in my class, which is why I won my class. That plus the posing and the symmetry and proportions and all the other factors that go into judging. Here's just a back double bicep pose. I'm waiting to get the entire photo package from the photographer, but here's one. Here's the back double bicep pose with the first, the lightweight class of the open bodybuilding division. And again, you can see, I mean, great competitors across the board. I don't want to take anything away from them, but I have more definition. I've got more definition in my hamstrings here than the other competitors do. My hamstrings are fuller. I've got my glutes are coming in, whereas they're still a little soft in the glutes here. There's a lot more striations in my lower back, which you don't see so much in the other competitors. And then I've just got more size and definition. I've got more definition in my shoulder caps. This guy's got some pretty great shoulders as well. Bicep peak. You can kind of see why I got first place in this division. Now here is a picture of the overall. This is the one where I did not get first place. This guy, the bantamweight, he actually won first place in this overall competition. So we have the bantamweight. I'm not sure what his weight on show day was. We have me as a lightweight. We have the light, I don't know if he was middleweight or light heavyweight. And then we have, I believe, the heavyweight or light heavyweight. I'm not sure what their weights were. This guy was absolutely massive. Like I'll have to show you some other pictures when I get it, but he's massive, but he did not have the conditioning. He was still very soft in the midsection. If he had brought the conditioning, he would have won the overall, no question about it. This guy looked absolutely amazing. He had size, he had shape, his posing was great, but he didn't have quite the conditioning either. I believe the conditioning was between me and the bantamweight. The judges said that he had better symmetry round poses, like I talked about in the last video, which is why I'm working on tweaking my symmetry round poses, not holding my elbows and arms up as high so as not to hide the thickness and width of my lats. Again, I'll get all those pictures that showcase that. These are just the two that I have handy. So this is the bantamweight who won the overall, and me, who placed, I think, second to him in the overall. You can see his conditioning is on point, and he has a very tight physique, which is why I'm kind of thinking of leaning towards this tighter, drier look if that's what the judges are wanting to go for. So when it comes to pictures, here are some more pictures. So this picture, these are all back double bicep pictures. This picture is the day. These are very small changes, so it kind of takes a trained eye to see the difference here. But these are pictures trialing out these different peak week protocols. So this is, this picture was taken the day after the refeed pizza. So this would be the equivalent of what I was to do if I was to follow the traditional prep protocol that I've laid out, looking for that fuller look. This is when I weighed a little bit more, had more water in the actual tissue to bring out that fullness. This is 1 day after, so there'd be a day in between, and this is 2 days after. So this is with me at the lightest weight here, and again, I'm dropping a little bit weight in this middle picture. So you can see, if you have that trained eye, there's a little bit more fullness to this picture on the left. And that fullness gradually dissipates a little bit as the time goes on, more time since the refeed. And then we have this most recent picture here at my lightest weight. I don't have as much fullness, but I'm a little bit drier, crisper, and tighter. So it's just a matter of what kind of package do I want to bring to show. They're all looking great, so I don't think I would necessarily go wrong either way. It's just a matter of which do I want to tweak, which lever do I want to pull, which package do I want to bring. So when it comes to really showcasing that, you can kind of see in my legs look a little bit smaller in this picture than they do in this picture, for instance. But if you look at the lower back here, I just have a little bit more graininess separating these muscles than I do over here. There's more fullness in the arms. I'm able to contract the muscle and have a little bit more fullness here, but I look a little bit tighter. My skin's a little bit thinner here. So it's just a matter of which package do I want to bring to the show day. And honestly, I'm just going to have to go through all of these pictures and pour over them a little bit more to know for sure. Here's another variation. Again, same layout, different pose. This is an overhead abdominal thigh. We've got, fullness to the legs here, more fullness to the legs here than we do over here. But again, my skin's a little bit thinner over here on this right picture than the left picture. More fullness in the lats, but a little bit more tightness on this most recent picture where there's more time between the refeed and the posing. So that hopefully showcases a little bit of the, minute changes that happen as you manipulate these electrolytes and macros with this ketogenic prep protocol. Again, I'm not carrying an extra 15 pounds of water in any of these pictures that's going to cause my definition to wash out. So the definition's still there. It's just little bitty subtle changes that can make the difference when it comes to down to the wire on show day. So that's kind of what I'm playing around with there and just wanted to showcase. I'm not going to do posing footage here for y'all because I'm still kind of tweaking that. And I'll show you all more posing footage, but I figured these pictures would probably represent these changes better than the footage would anyways. So hopefully you are satisfied with the pictures as opposed to the posing. I had a posing update with my posing coach, Rachel Daniels, this morning. The routine is looking solid. I'm very excited about that. Speaking of the routine, I'm going to give you one little sneak peek. Check out this picture. This was from the show. That was one of the black and white shots that the photographer caught, which I thought is a super cool picture. So that might be a profile picture or something going forward. But definitely focus on posing, because as we can see now with this last show, me not having my symmetry round poses dialed in the way the judges wanted them, which is again subjective. Another panel of judges may have preferred the way I was doing the poses prior, but this specific panel of judges wanted me to drop my elbows down, showcase more lats than I was, and that cost me the overall title likely. So I'm just practicing the posing like a madman. I work out every day. That typically takes about an hour, hour and a half, and then I spend 30 to 45 minutes every single day posing, holding the poses, each pose for 30 seconds with a stopwatch, going through my routine multiple times, going through the actual mandatory poses, the symmetry round poses, the muscular round poses multiple times to just commit that to muscle memory and make sure that I am conditioned and can hold those poses without shaking like a leaf. Those are all things that the judges are going to look for. That's going to set you apart from the other competitors. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much a recap on how this trial refeed went for the week. So very insightful week, very specific manipulations. I did get blood drawn on Tuesday of this week. I have gotten some of those results back, but I'm waiting on the hormone panel. Those are not done yet, and I don't want to go over the blood work until I have the complete comprehensive panel done. So I should have that within a day or two. So next week's video will be a peak week video. I am leaving for Washington State today, actually. We're going to pack up, load up, drive off, and head to Washington State for my third competition of the season. This competition is the one that I have history with. This is the one that I've been trying to peak for, which is why I'm doing all these trial manipulations, because I want to be perfect for this one. This is not the biggest show. The biggest show is Worlds, which is November 18th and 19th. But this particular show in Washington is the one that I have done in 2015 and 2017, and I have yet to get the overall title on. I've won my class in it, but I want that overall. So all of my updates have been kind of based off of this being the one I'm trying to peak for. So I'm very excited about it. My parents are flying out. We'll get footage of all that. We'll document that. Next week's video will be a recap peak week of this Northwestern Natural Puget Sound Pro-Am competition in Washington State, which I'm stoked for. So thank y'all for tuning in to week 27. Hopefully this was insightful for y'all. We will see you next week for peak week and the Washington State Natural Pro-Am.